Hello, I want to speak about low-tuned uh, tenors. Maybe you have more than one tenor, and yet you have all of them tuned G, C, E, A. Well, this is a bigger instrument. And when it was invented, it was meant to be tuned lower. For some other reasons, it ended up being tuned having a standard tuning. Well, I strongly recommend experimenting with different tuning. You can tune it one note lower and you will have maybe the same strings, just a little bit slacker, more slack. And that changes also the feel you have and also the tone. Not only is tuned lower, but it's kind of more mellow sound, not only due to the lower pitch, but to the lower tension. But you cannot tune it 1.5 note lower, having standard tenor uke strings. The idea is using thicker gauge strings, so the thickest strings you can find, you can use here are baritone strings. You have two options, either the low E or the high E, but obviously you just use an odd string from the E you put here and you have the high E. There are pros and cons for high and low E here. I went a whole hog and I put a low E, but I have a higher, and I will see in the next video, a tenor tuned one note lower, always with baritone strings to have a different feel, more tension. And that has a low F. Obviously, I always use the E string. In order to play this, if you play your regular songs, either you transpose and you play everything 1.5 tone higher. So if you want to play A, just play this like it's G and you play A. So you can either transpose, example, you play G, E, which is an infamous key for ukulele, you play G and everything is alright. You have to transpose 1.5 tone higher. Or you play baritone chords, and this you call, instead of G, you call D, but everything will result one note higher than one note higher. So if you play the D chord, you're hearing the E, the D chord, you're listening to you can hear the E chord. The pros and the cons of this particular tuning. Well, I think that this doesn't have the real ukulele sound that you're accustomed to. Well, I don't say the real ukulele sound, the usual ukulele sound, because this instrument has a ratio between the tuning, the body, the box, and the scale that is more typically ukulele. Why? Because it has a small box according to the way it's tuned. So from some points of view, it will sound less ukulele if you think that the ukulele sound is a high-pitched sound. But if you think the ukulele sound is a more boxy sound, I mean less volume, inner volume here, according to the way it's pitched, this is more ukulele from this point of view than other ukuleles. than the other tenors. So you can watch my other videos on mine where I play this. The tension is alright. It's not, I didn't force the strings because these are baritone strings with more or less the same tension you would have playing a baritone. They are just one note higher because the instrument is smaller. I think that's about it. I strongly recommend using full-sized scale ukuleles, not this on the tiny side. They don't sound good. You see? The difference you can actually see. Sorry. Yeah, you see the difference. Also, the size and the scale. This is a bigger scale. So this can accommodate this lower pitched. Whilst I made virtue out of necessity and I tuned this having a standard C tuning. So this is a video where I explain, and I hope this will set a new trend back to the original ukulele tuning of this. You have two options: C, B flat tuning, A tuning. You can switch from one to the other, or you can have two different instruments. In my case, I have two different instruments. I would say this is a good substitute for the baritone, and the other is closer to the tenor, the way it's regularly tuned. Actually, you can also have a high E here and a low F on the other. Well, I think that's it, and let me know. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.